So today I want to share with you the 3 big lies that I wish I knew before I became a life insurance agent. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Peter Roberts, co-founder here at Legacy Family Life. My first year as a final expense life insurance agent, I sold over $550,000 of final expense life insurance on my own pen. Not knowing what I was doing, I joined an MLM company, and I've been documenting that journey. And ultimately building a life insurance agency for the last 12 months. Our company done over $2.1 million in revenue and sales, and I have absolutely nothing to share with you guys. I want to share with you the pain, the struggles, and the truths about the life insurance industry that no one is willing to share with you because I want to help you. Here's a video that I wish I saw when I first got started as a life insurance agent. I remember I recently sold my lawn care business, and I was in high ticket tree removal, and how I even became a life insurance agent is I listened to a podcast, and this podcast is like, man, you're gonna go out there, you're gonna crush it, you're gonna make $400,000 per year, you're gonna make all this money. And I remember having that conversation with my mentor, kind of feeling lost in life, not really knowing what I wanted to do. And I was like, hey man, I'm gonna go jump into the life insurance business. And that moment changed my life. I remember, getting in my car, returning the car back to the company after being a really successful salesman. I was 20 years old, making $10,000 a month, selling high ticket tree removal. I learned a lot of skills, and I was giving it all up to pursue this career where I could make more money selling life insurance. And I remember that mentor calling me, says, hey man, I spoke to a life insurance agent. I really just recommend that you call him before you make this decision, before you leave. He was talking about chargebacks and things like that. He's been in the business for over 20 years. You should give him a call. And I was like, nah, I know what it's about. I'm gonna go out there and figure this thing out. I can see I can make $400,000 per year. I don't need to call anybody. Well, was I really mistaken? And this is the video for you. I want to share the 3 lies that opened my eyes to the industry that I wish I reviewed, and ultimately give you some clarity of what it actually looks like to be a life insurance agent, whether you're struggling or successful. So the first lie that I want to share with you that really was personal for me was that lie that I kept playing in my head when I was driving down to go to do tree removal quotes. 400,000 kept popping in my head, because that's what the videos of the podcast I kept listening to. The owner of the insurance company was like, hey man, if you don't make $400,000 per year, you finally want to get by in life, you're gonna make $400,000 per year selling life insurance. And I didn't realize that the average life insurance agent, after coming to know now, in my channel I've interviewed over 900 life insurance agents, and I can see how much money they actually make. The average agents only make around $3,200 per month as a life insurance agent. So the lies that I was told is you're gonna make 400 grand, which is $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month, $40,000 a month, was played into my head over and over and over. And I felt like I was a failure at first. I felt like I was like, what am I doing? My first 2 to 3 months, I lost money. I lost $20,000, $30,000, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I was really, really scared. But I thought, hey man, if they're all saying they're making $400,000, why can't it be me? And the one line that they kept, putting underneath that $400,000 is like, man, anybody can do this. Anybody can be a life insurance agent. Anybody can go out there, quit their job. Any moms, are you tired of, being a stay-at-home mom? Are you tired of being a bus driver? Are you tired of working at McDonald's? Come join the life insurance industry and you can make $400,000 per year. And that's how the industry was sold. And I realized that is an absolute lie. The average agent's only making around $3,000. So if you as an agent right now are making $3,000, $4,000 per month, you are a successful life insurance agent. And this industry is a lot harder. A lot of these people have these false expectations of making $50,000, $100,000 per month selling a final expense product to poor people or selling a term policy, and they don't really understand the reality of the business. So if I would have reset my expectations, I would have been different, but I was consumed by trying to figure this thing out, and I was depressed knowing like, man, I'm only making $1,000. What's going on? I'm checking my bank account. I'm doing everything that they're telling me to do. Why am I not making this work? And I realized that, man, I was submitting $30,000, $40,000 of premiums, barely making money. And I was like looking at people who were selling like $2,000 or $1,000 and $5,000, spending the same amount of money on leads, and they were all leaving the industry. I was figuring, man, no one's actually making money. And finally I asked everyone, I was like, what are you guys making? And everyone looked at each other like, not much. So that promise of $400,000 is complete, for my eyes, BS of what most agents make. If you can make $3,000 to $5,000 your first year as a life insurance agent per month, you are successful, you are doing well. And if you don't fail in your first 12 months, you are winning in the life insurance industry. And for me, the first 8 months were hell of just trying to figure this thing out, not making any money. And finally, I cracked my first $20,000 a month, but after 12 months of doing it and after losing thousands and thousands of dollars. So resetting your expectations, it's one of the biggest things that I would encourage you as a life insurance agent. And ultimately, not everyone is able to pull off that, 100,000, 400, 500. You have to be skilled in all different areas. And my second lie that I was taught was really told that really partners well with the first point is that, this is a sales position. The lie that I was told at first when I was a life insurance agent is you're going to come in and you're going to just sell life insurance. $400,000 by selling life insurance. Well, was I quickly, flabbergasted at all the skills that I had to learn as a life insurance agent. When you become a life insurance agent, you're not just a life insurance agent. You are the person who is willing to bear many hats. So if you're going in this industry and traditional models that are out there, the MLM models, the independent brokerage models, the models that are out there, be prepared to learn how to market. Be prepared how to get leads. Be prepared how to handle chargeback. Be prepared how to file a death claim. Be prepared to have to learn how to recruit. Be prepared of how to learn how to find talent. Be prepared of how to manage commission statements. Be prepared of how to learn if you're running a profitable business. Be prepared if you have to, figure out the whole business sense, because the lie that I was sold is you're going to be a life insurance agent. All you have to do is sell. We're going to go out there, go to a lead store. You're going to buy these leads that are juicy. They're fresh, baby. They're good. Call them, sell them a life insurance policy, hang up your hat, and you're going to win. But that was the absolute furthest thing from the truth. I tried to buy those leads. They were absolutely terrible. 3 years old. Didn't know what I was getting into. And I was like, man, I got to figure out how can I get better leads. I got to figure out how to market. I got to figure out how to run Facebook ads. I got to figure out how I can generate leads online, how I can go to different vendors, how I can source vendors. And then I got to figure out, man, am I going to generate leads, or am I going to learn how to sell, or am I going to go out there and buy leads? And I got to figure out how I can run this thing at a profitable business. So how am I going to learn about customer acquisition costs? How am I going to learn about increasing long-term value? How am I going to learn about delivering a product? How am I going to learn if someone dies, or how am I going to get referrals? So the lie that's sold out there is like, you're going to come in, you're going to sell. This is for 90% of the models out there in the life insurance industry. It's like, you're going to go out there, you're just going to sell life insurance, you're going to make 400 grand, and you're going to be a second lie, which is a salesperson, just selling life insurance. But there are so many different skills. So you need to look at yourself right now. If you're jumping into the insurance industry, have you ever marketed before? Have you sold a product before? Have you spoken to customers before? Have you dealt with people on the phone? Have you put yourself in hard positions? Have you, had to put your head down and not know how things are going to work, and you just figure things out? Because you have to learn all these skills that are going to be, challenging for you to be a life insurance agent. When I had to drive, because I wasn't making my sales, I had to drive to meet a client at Denny's because I needed to make a sale to, pay my mortgage. I drove out to Denny's to make the client. That was not pitched to me as a life insurance agent. When I had to go into Miss Betty's house, who lives in the city and lives in the hood, and I had to sell her a final expense policy, and I have to, step over her clothes at the steps, and I have to step over her laundry, and I have to step out, and it's a terrible environment. Or I had to sell a life insurance policy on someone's porch in the hood when they're smoking weed. This is what I had to do as a life insurance agent, and that was not what was told. So when you're selling final expense, there's certain situations that you're gonna have to go through as a life insurance agent. This is not a glorified sales position. You're not a glorified order taker. You have to learn how to sell. You have to learn how to manage multiple expectations, and you have to go out there and learn many, many skills. How to handle chargebacks, how to handle lead costs, how to learn how to sell every single day, how to make sure that you're not running yourself out of the business, because you are a business owner as a life insurance agent in most of these traditional models that are out there. So do not forget that. And the fifth thing is that you need to go out there and start building a team immediately. I remember the first day I got started. The dream is, man, this is the financial service industry. Becoming a life insurance agent is the number one industry to become, a millionaire. This produces and prints the most amount of millionaires. And the way that you do that is you go out there and start recruiting and finding talent immediately. And that's what I didn't do, and I'm glad I didn't do that. But I see so many people that get caught up in, hey, go out there and recruit people. I was at a conference, the reason you're not growing, the reason you're not doing it is because you're not growing. And I remember I sat down with a guy who got this really big deal. He was on stage, and I said, hey man, I have one question. I submitted $84,000 of final expense premiums, and I'm not knowing how my business is still not working. And he said, okay, well, how many people did you recruit? And I said, nobody. And he said, that's why. And he said, go after it. And I said, oh my gosh, why is this a recruiting business? Why is recruiting trying to fix this? And in the most disrespectful manner, not trying to help me. And I was like, this is a crooked industry, and this is an industry that is simply built to recruit. So you have to be prepared in the traditional models out there to build a team, immediately is what they're going to do. But the lie is that that's the way to freedom. That's the way to success. And I like to share with you my success, and what I did is actually for my first year, I took the opposite approach. I knew I couldn't recruit my brother, I couldn't recruit my sister, I couldn't recruit my best friend into this industry because I couldn't even make money for myself. So what has helped me build this $2.1 million business is that I built a system for 12 months by selling and learning this thing out. I went through hell Monday through Sunday for 5 months in a row working, trying to figure out how I could be profitable before I could ever recruit someone else. Because the dream was, oh, recruit, sit on the beach, make all this money. But what they don't tell you is that the recruiting aspect is that now you have to manage all these different risks. So let me share with you the 3 main risks that come with recruiting. Number 1, the risk of losing sales. So where is your time and your attention? So for me, the minute I started recruiting is the minute I started actually losing my sales, because my leads were coming in, but I had to train someone. I had to, tried to bring in my first guy. I had to, help him with an application. I had to help him learn how to sell. I had to answer his questions. I had to do a training session. And my short 12-hour day that I had was 1 to 2 hours going to recruiting that I was not actually producing revenue, and I was spending money on leads, and I wasn't making money as myself. So my time was going to wrong things, okay? So the first thing is that when you start recruiting, you start losing, actual production yourself, and you need production to stay afloat in this hard industry, because the minute that you let your foot off the gas, be prepared, you're going to stop making money, okay? Second thing is the risks of upline or chargeback debt. Okay, what you don't say is, hey, imagine I recruit 20 people, I run an India, or pick people off the street who have no ethics, no integrity, have never ran a business before, who have never sold a product before, don't know how to market, and I say, hey, you're gonna become a business owner. And earlier that we learned is that this is not a sales position, this is a business owner position. And I say, hey, I'm gonna teach you how to sell life insurance, but ultimately you have to do all these extra things. They come in, they go out there, they see that, hey, I can go out there and I can, sell a few policies and then leave. I'll make some money and I'll dip out, and guess what? You are responsible for everyone that you bring in. So if you bring in someone who does shady stuff, you are responsible. You sign a contract with the insurance company saying, hey, this person leads or does anything fraudulent, I am responsible. So if they leave, they sell policies, they get what's called debt, meaning that they sold policies, the policies charge back, and they dip out. Guess who's responsible? You, old Mr. Joe. So what I want you to know is I've seen this firsthand. A lady that I first started with, she came in, she was a top agent selling 5 policies, a day. I was like, this lady is insane. She was on the Zoom calls, she was on the national calls. What is this lady doing? She's awesome. And then I'm driving around still in my tree mobile selling trees. I'm like, what is this doing? I'm hopping on every train this lady's doing. Come to find out, after 4 months, she was committing fraud. She was basically signing fake bank accounts up, getting advance money from the insurance company, and then she left, leaving the upline with over $40,000 of debt that they have to pay. So the industry will tell you, recruit, bring in your best friend, sign someone up, get them under your downline. But ultimately, there's this risk that no one wants to talk about, and it's that sunk cost that you have to go out there and train. You have to take on the risk, and ultimately, if you bring in the wrong people, you can get really screwed. And the last thing I want to share with you is the overall, I guess with recruiting is the overall fear or the overall control that you have to take as a leader. Your goal as a leader when it comes to recruiting is to teach people to do the things that you want to be. In order to be a successful teacher, you have to first be the student. And being that student means that you have to succeed first. And there is a risk. People have BS monitors, and you will not build a team if you have not done it yourself. So people try to come in, you try to sell them the dream, you try to go out there and tell them, hey, you can make all this money, and this is the promises, here's what they're telling you, drink the Kool-Aid, and you're not doing it yourself. You will lose your reputation, and that's the one thing that I'm worried about when it comes to recruiting, is friends, families come in, they get told to do things that are out of their control or who they are as people, and they recruit people, and ultimately they hurt, damage, and really jeopardize important relationships in their life because of money. So those are 3 things that are recruit, and I signed up, and thankfully enough, I've been able to pull this thing around. But for the first year, reflecting on this, the lie was the $400,000 is what I'm going to do. I gave it all up to do it, and I believed in it, and I didn't make $400,000 my first year. I sold $500,000 of final expense life insurance, but I learned about chargebacks, I learned about marketing costs, I learned about not sales. I learned about buying leads at expensive, and I learned a lot of things, and I made a lot of mistakes that I never thought I'd ever encounter. And I also thought this was just a sales position. I thought, man, I'm just gonna go in there. I already know how to sell high ticket tree removal. Give me some leads, work from home, kick my feet up on the counter, sell some life insurance, and peace out, and spend the rest of my evening, going on a boat. doing some crabbing fishing is what I thought I was going to do. But no, I had to spend 16 hours a day, 12 hours a day, every single day, trying to save myself from losing my mind when I opened up my computer and saw the chargebacks and realized that I had to save policies. I had to call people and had to learn all these different skills that have impacted my life today, but that's not what I was sold up front. And lastly is that I was told to recruit. If you want this big dream, if you want this goal, and I'm so glad I didn't, but I saw everybody around me doing it, and I saw some people get really screwed by chargeback debt, roll-up debt, and when I did do it, I reduced my commissions and I reduced my sales velocity. I lost money because I couldn't sell anymore. And ultimately, I did ruin a few relationships with people I played soccer with. I was like, hey man, come work with us. Here's what I'm doing, man. Here's my AP. I'm doing all this. Come do this, man. Meanwhile, I knew I wasn't actually making that much money. So there are the 3 lies that I wish I knew before I became a life insurance agent. Would have helped me really make a better judgment call in the industry and not be so screwed up in the beginning. So love you guys. Hope this helped. See you in the next one. Cheers.